Hello students, today we will start a new chapter of biology, that is diversity in living organism. This is going to be a very fascinating and interesting chapter, but yes, you need to practice and you have to revise on daily basis. First we will start with the biodiversity. Biodiversity, you can get the meaning of this from the word itself by splitting the word biodiversity. Bio means life and diversity means variety. We can see all around us that there is a variety of life forms, may it be plant, animal, microorganism. So we have got variety of plants, animal, microbes. So we say we have got a rich biodiversity. Bio means life, diversity means variety of life forms. So as a whole, biodiversity is variety of life forms. We have got different types of plant, different types of animals and different types of microorganisms. That is called biodiversity, and this is our responsibility to save biodiversity. Okay, so now and this term was given by Walter Rosen in 1986. Next topic is taxonomy. What is taxonomy? This is the science of identification, nomenclature and classification of plants, animals, etc. When we know that there is a rich biodiversity around us, we need to identify the plants, animals or whatever living creature we are studying. We need to give them a proper name and then we have to classify them in a proper kingdom as per their characteristic. Okay, so how to remember taxonomy? Taxonomy is INC, I-N-K, C. INC means is equal to taxonomy. So INC is identification, then you have got identification, you have got nomenclature and then you classify. First of all, we identify any plant. For example, we have identified a new plant which we have not given any name, or the scientists they have not given any name, or they have not classified it. In the taxonomy, it's a big branch of biology in which the new plants whichever are discovered, you can say plants, animals or any life form whichever is discovered, we take them, we identify them, we give the name to that particular species and then we classify them as per their characteristics. Okay, so this is taxonomy. This is a branch of biology in which first of all any species is identified, then it is given the name and then it is classified as per the characteristics. So classification is done on the basis of the characteristics of living organism. So who is the father of taxonomy? Carolus Linnaeus is the father of taxonomy, and he has done a pioneering work or the basic work, initial work in this field. Now next topic is range of biodiversity. As we have already discussed that biodiversity means the variety of life forms, and we have got a big range of biodiversity. For example, if you consider the size, so you have seen microscopic bacteria to large sized organism like blue whale. So there is a big biodiversity if we see on the basis of size. If we see on the basis of lifespan also, lifespan means the period from the birth till the death of the organism, that period is known as the lifespan. So if you see on the basis of lifespan, we have seen mosquitoes also which live for few weeks, and we have seen the pine trees also which live for thousands of years. So we can prove with the help of this statement that we have got a range of biodiversity, we have got a rich biodiversity around us. Now next third point is related to color. Just see, you just imagine around you, you can see jellyfish and the worms that are colorless, but on the other hand, on the contrary, we have got butterflies, we have got flowers, we have got many birds which are colorful. So in this question or in this topic, we can justify that we have got a rich biodiversity on the basis of different characteristics. May it be size, you can say on the basis of size, lifespan and color, and hence we have justified that we have got a big range of biodiversity around us. There is no denial of this fact. Now, the next question arises, what is classification and what is the importance of classification? This is also one of the questions of NCERT, that what is classification and what is the importance of classification. We know classification is very important step in taxonomy, because in taxonomy we identify the organism, then we give the name to the organism. That process is called nomenclature, and third step is the classification. That is very important. After giving the name, we try to classify that particular new organism into a certain group. So now let's study what is classification. Classification is the arrangement of plants, animals into different groups and subgroups. And on what basis we classify them? On what basis we are going to give them different classes? We classify them on the basis of certain characteristics. Their similar characteristics or dissimilar characteristics, or the interrelationship between the organisms. So classification is arrangement of organism into different groups on the basis of their characteristics. This is the simplest definition of classification. Now, next question arises, what is the use of classification? So classification is very important. Even if you see in your day-to-day life, classification is important. Like in case of schools, you have been given different classes, different sections on the basis of your age group, on the basis of your IQ level. So you have been classified. If for example, you are not classified on the basis of these characteristics, for example, your IQ, your age group, so it will be very difficult for you all to get the education. So same way, the plants and animals, they are also classified into different groups so that our study becomes easier. And it is very important to study the biodiversity, different plants and animals, because they are beneficial for us, and we need to understand what qualities do they have, or how they can be useful for us. Even other branches of biology also are dependent on this classification. So it is a kind of a must thing for the biologist, that is classification of plants and animals into different groups and subgroups. Now see one by one why classification is important. It tells us when we are doing the classification, we come to know about the similarities and dissimilarities among the organism. What does it mean? If the organisms are in the same group, it means they must be having the same characteristics, and if the organisms are placed in different groups, it means obviously they must be having some different characteristics. That's why they are in different groups. So we can say that because of classification, we know the similarities or the dissimilarities among the organism very well. Good, understood. Next point is, other branches of biology like forestry and other branches of biology, they are also dependent on classification. Classification is very important. Means you should be knowing the name of the plant, the characteristics of the plant. So classification is very important. If we don't know the characteristics or names, so it will be very difficult for us to study that particular plant or animal. So classification is very important. And other branches of bio like ecology or forestry or medicine sciences, they are also dependent on the classification. So next is, study of one or two organism give the idea of the entire group. For example, if one group is there, one group of plant, so it is for sure that all the plants of that particular group, they must be having the same kind of characteristics. That's why they are placed in that group. So if we study one plant, it means we know the characteristic of rest of the plants of that particular group. So study of one or two organism give the entire idea about the members of that group. Good. Next is, it makes the study of wide range of organisms easy. We have already studied that biodiversity means variety of life forms. We have got many plants, many animals. There are a number of animals. Even some species are not discovered yet. They are present, but we are not aware of them. So such kind of rich biodiversity we have. So this classification, the science of classification, makes the study of wide range of organisms easy. When we write organism, it is applicable for plants and animals both. It tells us the origin and evolution of organism. So that is also important, how the any organism is originated, it has started its journey of life, and how it has evolved. Evolved means how it has developed. So classification gives that study also. It tells us about the origin, the starting point of the animal, and how it has developed with due course of time. So that is called evolution. Evolution means development, and development in organism happens with time. Now next point is that classification is closely related to evolution. I said that evolution means different changes or the variations in the organism keep happening. Okay, so that leads to evolution. Initially we were ape-like, now we are a different and modified organism. That happened because of evolution. So now question arises, can you say that classification and evolution, they are closely related? Yes, they are closely related, because both of them are based on characteristics. If we say classification, we do classification on the basis of characteristics. Even evolution is also based on the characteristics. There, with time, there are different changes and variations in the characteristics, which leads ultimately to the evolution. So now I am going to read this. Time is the key factor which helps in development of the complex organism from the simple. So now we have started our journey from simple organism to complex organism, simple to complex. So this journey has happened, and this is called evolution. This is evolution. Okay, so Charles Darwin, very famous biologist, Charles Darwin, firstly gave the idea of evolution in 1859 in his famous book Origin of Species. So Origin of Species was a famous book written by Charles Darwin, and that too in 1859. In this book, what he has specified? Evolution. Evolution means there is a constant change in the living organism, there is a steady change in the living organism, and the living organism keep evolving with time, keep developing with time, and ultimately this process is known as evolution. Evolution is very important process, and it happens because of the changes, changes, or we can say variations, which happen in any living organism, because that living organism has to survive. They have to adapt themselves to the environment. Those organisms which have ancient body designs are not changed much are called primitive organism. Those who acquire certain special characteristic during the journey of the time, they are called advanced or the higher organism. So some organism like bacteria and all, they have not evolved much, they have not shown any changes, or they have not shown much of the changes, so they are called primitive organism. And some organism, they keep showing the changes, they keep showing the variations with time, and they show the evolution, so they are called advanced or the higher organism. Thank you. Watch the video twice and keep revising.